Welcome to our second and final Department of Defense desk staff training. Very excited to be here today. Again, my name is Jordan, and I'm looking forward to speaking with you, whatever time of day it is for you, it's evening for me, about the patron experience and some of the help that you'll be offering your patrons this summer with Beanstack. This training, just by way of housekeeping, automatically puts you on mute, as you've noticed, but that doesn't mean we don't want to hear from you. I do. If you have questions about what I'm saying or any questions about anything at all, you're very welcome to chat them in. You'll see a space where you're able to add chats or questions in your panel, your GoToWebinar panel, so please don't hesitate to do them there. I do urge you to try to take it in before you ask questions, so give it a minute, see if I address the question that you had. I always stop and ask for questions, so there's probably going to be a natural breaking point at which you'll realize, you know what, she didn't cover that, and I do want to ask. So I just ask that you try and focus your attention on the discussion and the topic at hand, and then go ahead and ask away. That's what we are here to do, is help answer your questions and make your experience with Beanstack easier. We're super excited that everybody this year is using Beanstack. We had great usage last summer, and we're even more excited about all that's possible for this summer. In fact, some of you have already started, so some libraries are like in the thick of it already, and that is really awesome. So let's get going. First, just a word of greeting. Again, I'm Jordan, and it's nice to meet you. That's me down there last summer on our summer vacation to Maine, and it was a lot of fun, and that's the place where I ate the best blueberry pie I've ever eaten, right there at Charlotte's Lobster Pound. That's my husband and my co-founder of Beanstack, Felix, and our two kids, Cassius and Florence. And above us is the book called All the World, which is really the book, I won't get into the story, but it is the book that set us on the path to creating this company. I used to, in my former life, be a teacher. I met Felix as a teacher many moons ago, and then did a lot of different things, and sort of the final thing that I did before I started Beanstack with him was to run Google's K-12 education outreach initiatives globally. So I'm now sort of committed to, it's a real labor of love for us. We love Beanstack. It's really personal for us. So even though our company has grown and everything, we really view every single experience as being incredibly important, and it is personally important for us that you be happy with what we're offering you, okay? Goals for today. Two goals. One is just that you understand the basic features of the patron experience and the staff administrative tools. So making sure that you just get the basics. How does Beanstack work, and how does it work from a patron's perspective, and how does it work from your perspective as a staff member? The second is to ensure that you're excited about having a great summer with Beanstack at your library. Sometimes when things are required, it can feel like grown, and maybe you don't want to feel like doing it, but I hope that today gives you a little bit of solace that, not going to be too bad, and in fact might be a super fun and positive experience, and get people, involved that maybe otherwise wouldn't be, okay? Agenda for tonight. First, we're going to go over how Beanstack works. The basic idea, the basic premise, in case you, the last software you used was, maybe you didn't use Beanstack last year, but sort of the year before that, or using something else. Just make sure you have kind of the big picture. Then we'll get into the patron experience. How does somebody register for your programs? How do they log? How do they earn? And of course, when I say programs, I'm speaking about reading, and specifically summer reading. So I don't mean like events or story times or things that you might be doing at your libraries. After that, we'll look at reader lookup and actions that you can take on behalf of patrons. So how can you help a patron register from the admin tools? How can you log for a patron? How can you help redeem those prizes that they have earned in the admin side? And finally, actually adding an account creator and a reader. That's like lingo that we'll go over in Beanstack, sort of from scratch, as I like to say. Look at that. We will do some Q&A. I'll speak to the app briefly, if those of you who have an interest in going and sort of checking it out. And that's our mobile app that was recently released. And that's it. Excuse me. I did want to mention this is not a library administrator training. So if you came here expecting to learn more about the setup of your program, like I want to change, for example, a badge to have a reward attached to it, or I want to change a badge so that it's worth more, or it takes longer to get to the next badge level. Those types of things that are about your program setup will not be covered this evening, although we are happy to address them on our help desk, and we welcome you there. Okay. Without further ado, I want to go right into the demo at the demo site we have for Department of Defense libraries. If there are any comments or questions at this point, I would love for you to go ahead and type them in. I will take a look and see if there are any questions or comments. Otherwise, welcome to those of you who just joined. And I'm going to get out of here. Oh. There we go. And head over, don't need that, to your demo site. Of course, your website looks something like this, maybe a little different. You might have a different image here. Your things might be in a different order, but basically, for example, I think I pulled up one over here for us to see. Same image here, of course, but the dates are different. They've written some different, language here, have a few different events showing up. So every site has some differences. Some are far more different than others, but generally, the vast majority of Department of Defense sites look something like this one. In this case, in this one that I have here, we've, in essence, just taken pretty much those programs that you have that are like the standard programs. The administrator at your library, if that's not you, may have just taken what we offered as a template and said, that's good, I'm doing that. They might have also done something a little bit different, but there are some commonalities. The primary commonality is that everybody across Department of Defense libraries must have every participant logging minutes. Okay, that's one commonality. We'll talk one point in common, and there are some others that we'll discuss as well. The way Beanstack works, you'll notice here there's no mention of sign up for the teen program or sign up for the kids program. It's just sign up for summer reading. And that's because as you go through what we call the registration funnel, as you click on this button, register an individual or family, which is where you want to direct people to go, and you say, I will say in this case, to show you a couple things, I'm an adult registering myself. Excuse me, if I say I'm registering myself, I did want to point out something. If I say I'm registering myself here, you'll notice that I'm asked my birth date. The way that we have set up your site and configured your site in accordance and compliance with the Children's Online Privacy and Protection Act, COPA, according to Erica Steiner, who is my primary point of contact for the Department of Defense libraries, and she is on the line now, so hello, Erica. The way that we have addressed that need to ensure that we are not collecting identifiable information for anybody who is under the age of 13 is we ask your birth date. However, you cannot enter a birth date that allows you to be younger than 13. So the earliest year, as you can see, is 2005. All right. And we will, that's another thing that's sort of same across sites. Majority of these fields are also the same. So I can come in here and I can either say that I want to register myself, or I want to register an adult registering a child. Either way, I will be invited to create a family account. Okay, so let's start off. I'll say that I'm an adult registering a child. And I will say my name is Jordan. And oh, I forgot I had an idea of what I wanted to do. Okay. I'm going to enter a password. I'm going to tell you, in this case, I of course had to pick a library, or should, but if you don't have multiple libraries participating in your program, like you're not sharing a program, then you won't have that field. Everybody does have to answer this. And now here I'm entering the adult information, and here I'm entering my reader's information. What is my child's name? My child's name is, we'll say, and we'll give this a sort of a younger child, so something really early learning, okay? And now I'm going to say next. You will notice that child, Harry, has just been automatically entered into the early learners, okay? So automatically put into this pre-reading program. He earned this badge, a registration badge, and now I know he's in it. It didn't say what program do you want him to go into. I told you his age, and therefore the way that the program has been set up by the administrator, that age means that he's going into a particular program. In addition to that, before we get to adding my next child, I did want to revisit our slides here. You might have noticed that I put in my adult information. That means I am the account creator, and my reader is the person participating in the program, okay? The person who is the account creator is the person who's doing the logging, and the reader is the person who's doing the reading. Now, sometimes they're one and the same. If you're an adult signing up yourself or a teenager signing up yourself, well then, hey, you might be actually the account creator and the reader. But for a parent signing up a younger child, they would be the account creator and the child would be the reader. You will oftentimes see this terminology, and that's important to understand the difference. An account creator does not always have to be a reader, but a reader does always need to have an account creator. Now I'm asked, do I want to add another child? I will say, yes, I do. And this child, we can make Megan. And we'll make her born in a little bit older. And she automatically is in a different program, right? Earns a different badge. And for the sake of showing you, I'll say I don't need to add another child. No, thank you. But I'm going to go ahead and add myself. Now when I add myself, I do now have to put in my birth date. And I'll have to reveal to you that I recently turned 40. And now I have also been registered in my program automatically, and you'll notice in this case I won a prize. It's very possible you do not have prizes attached to your badges, but everything in Beanstack is set up with badging, so if your librarian who is responsible for your site decided to add prizes, then you would see prizes attached to badges when you earn them. In this case, it's a registration badge. So just for registering, I get this registration prize, and I'm also going to get an email that says, hey, Jordan, you earned a registration prize, and then these instructions are going to be there as well. So I'll hear from a couple of different places the fact that I earned this prize and instructions for how to go and pick it up. I'll say no other adults, and I'll just continue over here. Now, I wanted to show you, because some of you have pre-registrations going on right now, I wanted to come here to this pre-readers program. Harry was automatically, and I can see I'm in Harry's page up here. I can change if I wanted to see somebody else. But Harry is right here, and notice he's been pre-registered for this program, but it says, look, even if I want to count toward this program, it has to be done after June 1st. So I can do whatever I want. I can try to log, I'm not going to be able to log activities. I can log reading, but nothing's going to count until I start doing it on June 1st. This is what a pre-registration form will look like. Some of you have that, and if there's any confusion around that, that's what it means. Not until June 1st does anything actually count. Okay. Now that means I'm not going to log for Harry, because that'll be it won't work that well. But I just wanted to make sure you could see that I set that up for just one program. But you'll notice in here, I still can see his program. I see that I'm going to earn a badge and look, a prize too for having read 2 hours. If I read 4 hours, 6 hours, and I can go ahead and log once it's time. And I can also see some of the activities that I can do. Okay. Now, if I change readers and I go over to Megan's page, I'll see it looks different. She's in a different program. And in her program, it looks like she also can earn a prize for having read 2 hours and can read up to 10 hours. I can come here and see the different logging badges. I can see some of the rewards I can earn and so forth. I'm going to go ahead and log here for Megan. I'll log minutes. I'll indicate, pardon me, the date today. And I can say I've read, we'll say 2 hours. I could also put in, if I was doing it just in minutes, you can put in an increment of like 30 minutes, and it'll, or you could say like 120 minutes will turn it into 2 hours. Oh, I entered it. Sorry. And I earned my free book. Okay. Now, you can visit the library to pick up your free book. Of course, these are just, pretend prizes. You might have anything else, but remember that Megan earned that badge and she earned the book. So now I can see, if I come back to her page, now these once dull gray and white badges are nicely lit up. Okay, so it's not that Beanstack is dull, it's that as you earn, everything gets brighter and you start to earn your prizes and your rewards as well. And I also can see how far along Megan is. Now I can change readers and I can come over here to mine here, Queen. And again, I'm going to see my minutes. Notice there's a different increment to earn my badge. I have to read 5 hours. And again, I would go here and log minutes. Now, I didn't see any activities because there are no activities for this program. What if I forgot to add a reader, for example? I could come here and I can add a reader, and I will be an adult registering a child. And I'll say this can be our, who did we forget? We forgot Prince William. And we can make him, let's see, I'm gonna make him a little older. Okay. He has been automatically enrolled into the teen program now. Okay, so I'll say no more kids, but now you'll notice he's right here. He's right here on my dashboard. I can come over to William, and there he is. And of course, he also has minutes and different badges. So these are really the different ones. You can toggle between your readers. You can also edit if you want to go to a reader's page. You can edit information edit that reader here. You can also, of course, if you needed to figure out something about your account, you can add a reader. You can also go to your account. This is my username, Elizabeth, and I can see all my information. If I want to reset my password, I can do that here. Lots of things can be done on that edit account page. And of course, again, you can toggle back and forth between them. If you do happen to have activities, like we do here in this program, you'll see I'm not able to complete them now because the program hasn't started. But if you had not started, you could go ahead and click on this, and you'd be able to earn your badge for having completed the activities. In this case, you have to do 3 of them, and marking in your answers. Once you do 3, would allow you to earn this badge. Okay. I'm going to stop there from the patron experience and just see if there are any questions or comments about how you go about signing up, logging, and seeing that you have earned a reward. Questions at all? If there are no questions, I'll continue, but again, if you think of them, please type them in. I wanted to also point out, some of you might have some returning readers, or you might have been doing like ongoing programs throughout the year, and if that's the case, you don't necessarily have people coming in and signing up again. They're actually signing in. So if somebody has actually been, used this site before, and they say, hey, I already have an account, I just want to sign back up, all they have to do is sign in. They will be required to update their readers' information And then, of course, here, yours would look different, but they'll basically have to enter some information, make sure that it's still the same, or, update if something has changed. And if it's all the same, just save it out, and that's it. Okay, but just want to make sure that you have that sense as well, that if somebody is joining again, they will just have to sign in, and then they'll be offered to register for the program for the summer as well. Questions at all about that? Are we sure? Okie dokie. If there are no questions about that, then I'm going to go into the staff tools. Oh, pardon me, I also like to show you the groups. So most of you might not have register a class or group on your site. It just depends. But if you do, just remember, this is for an individual or a family, as it says, and this is for a group, like a daycare or like a child care center or something. And if they come in here and register a class or a group, it works almost exactly like what we were showing you before. I can say all at one time or individually. If I say all at one time, that means that if I tell you I have a group of 10 kids, when I log one book, it will count for everybody at once. If I log one activity, it counts for everybody. So even though I might just log one book, it counts for, 1 minute, it counts for you as 10. If I have 10 kids, every one thing is actually times 10 in your count, so to speak. But as a person running a group, I don't necessarily have to note that down. On the other hand, if you did it individually, what we do is we automatically create like 10 readers for you. We don't give them names, but rather than just having the view of like, oh, you're just logging one thing, you would see reader 1, reader 2, reader 3, and you'd be able to individualize them. They'd still be kind of a part of a group. This is definitely the most popular option. It's very simple. So I can just say Royal Group. We can make a default age for that group be 8, for example. I can tell you that I'm registering 10 of them. I'll give you a general defaults. Of course, you can change that later. Now I'm going to give you my information. And you'll notice it's just pretty much the exact same thing that I'm doing here. I'm registering this group. And now my group is already in here, and you'll notice my one reader, it appears, is just Royal Group. But when we go look up Royal Group, as we will, you will see that I will be able to tell as a staff member how many people are in that group. So if they do earn a prize, I'll know how many is legitimate to give them. And of course, when I'm logging, I just have to log once. I don't have to log, 10 times 10 times 10 minutes. I can log 10 minutes, and it counts for all 10 kids multiple times. Okay. Any questions at all about groups, or about the patron sign-up experience, about the patron participation experience, anything at all that you have questions about? I'm going to stop for just 1 minute. I'll take a sip of water and see if any questions come through. All right, no questions. So that means I'm going to go over here and I'm going to sign in. And I'm going to sign in now. This is just like you're going to do in the library staff experience now. And I'm going to sign in like you will. That's my username and password. And you should see something that looks like this when you're logged in as a staff member. If you, for some reason, end up over here and you're like, this is wrong, I'm in the patron experience, just scroll down and click on Administrative Access. Find yourself here. And now we're going to go back through pretty much those exact same functions, but we're going to go back through those functions as an administrator, as a staff member, okay? So let's look at the first scenario. Tends to be the most common. somebody comes in that's like, hey, I registered on Beanstack. I've been tracking my points on, or excuse me, my reading and my daily minutes on paper. So I have this sheet of paper. I want my prize, but can you look me up and help me out, right? You need to make sure it's very important that everybody on this call is entering all of those minutes in Beanstack, because as I understand it, that is going to be the primary way that Erica Steiner, like I said on the call, and others are going to be measuring minutes. So rather than asking everybody to self-report, we actually have like a dashboard that she's able to view and see all the minutes sort of together and then per library. So it's very important that everything be recorded in here, even if the patron themselves is doing some level of it on paper. The goal is to have a patron sign themselves up. The more they actually go through the process of signing up on their own, they're much more likely to continue to log on their own, and that's a great thing. So really encourage that to the extent that you can. But people are people, and they are most certainly going to come in and have some questions. So let's go in here and let's search for somebody. We can search, find a person, and we can look up the example that we had of Megan. There I see the account creator is Queen Elizabeth, and of course the reader here is Megan. And I see Megan's information here. Megan might say to me, hey, I just got this prize, and can you help me? I know I earned this prize. It says I got a free book. Can you help me get that prize? And we'll say, yeah, let me see where it is. I'm going to click on this little redeem incentives button, and I'm going to click on redeemed. Nothing happens on her end, but on our part, we can see that something has gone from being just earned to having been earned and redeemed. Okay, great, she redeemed that, but she might say, hey, but I also read like another 10 hours, and I didn't enter any of those in. You can easily just enter in 10 hours or 600 minutes. You can just put that in here, done, be done. You don't have to do it one by one. Sometimes people put in a title like added by librarian or something to let them know like you did that. But once you do this, it will also maybe get her some more prizes. No, that was it. But if we go in and look here into her page, click into her page, we will see that she's read 720 minutes. So those are all minutes that we helped her do. And then also, hey, look, she actually completed the program, which is great. So I can see all that. I see that she's earned her reward. This is when I clicked from that Find a Person page here, where you can do lots of quick actions like redeem an incentive or add to their log, or even log an activity if they have activities. And then, of course, I could even edit her, and change, oh, I got my birthday wrong. And if you wanted to go in there, you would go in here like this and see rewards and all kinds of other things that we don't have to get too much into. You can also, of course, edit someone's information here, add to the log for them, and do all those same things in this screen as well. But many people kind of prefer to do it as the quick add here, okay? So that's the account lookup, finding somebody, logging for somebody, and then, of course, going into their reader page. I will come over here to Queen Elizabeth, or let's find a different person. Let's see. I'll look up Jordan, maybe from last time. And let's see if we can find who I was last time. This is one great example, actually, of a group, the royal group that we just did. So I see my royal group has, if I click here, I'll be able to see that it has 10 readers, like we showed before. So there's my royal group here. Of course, no rewards for my royal group, but if they did, then they would be there. I wanted to find you another person here that I can show you. Let's see. Okay, great. We'll just do this one and see if we can't get in here. So we have Johnny Rocket. This is an old one. Now I click into Johnny Rocket and I say, oh, Johnny Rocket hasn't enrolled. So let's do a different scenario for Johnny Rocket. Johnny Rocket comes in and says, hey, I'm Johnny. I did this last summer. I know that I'm in there. And you can say, great, let me find you. Once you find him, you're going to say, there you are. We'll type in his name. We'll say, there you are, Johnny Rocket. Here you are. You were here last year. That's great. I'm going to go in here. First thing I want to do before I enroll you is I'm going to edit your information. Is this still correct? February 21st, 2015. That's your birthday? Okay. All right. Great. If there's any other information you're collecting for, the kid, the child, and the parent's relationship, you would see that here. Okay. Now I'm going to enroll. And, of course, I might say, hey, there are no activities for me to do for you, although if there were, I could do them. The program is, he's pre-registered right now. It's an upcoming program, so I can pre-register him, but I can't actually log the activities from here. Once they're available and the program has started, then the activities are also available for me to complete on his behalf, okay? So you can definitely search for somebody, find them, and then just go in and enroll them or pre-register them for the program. It's super easy to do as well. And it's definitely optimal, I'd say, to first look for a person if they come in, they're like, oh, I don't think I have an account. You say, well, let's see. Did you participate last summer? You can search them. If you don't see them, then you can just go to add an account creator and a reader. But it's always nice to sort of look up and make sure that you're not adding a duplicate to the system. Okay. Are there questions at all about how we find somebody who's returning or how we find somebody and help them log and redeem their prizes? Any questions at all about that or things you'd like for me to go over again? Going once, twice. Okay. The final thing we like to show in people is how you can add somebody. So if you just have to add somebody directly and you're going to do it, they're not going to add themselves, and this is how you do it. You go to people, add an account creator and a reader. Remember, the account creator is so important. The account creator is the person who's going to be logging in. Are you setting up an account for somebody who is 17 and you're helping them set up an account? Well, in that case, then the account creator is both the account creator and the reader. It's one and the same. Or are you signing up a parent with 2 kids, okay, and themselves, for example? So that's the example we can do. So we'll go here and we'll say, you have to give them a username, of course. Patron is their role. Again, have to pick these. Now, if you were signing up a group, you would say group, but I'm going to do this for a family or individual. So this is my account creator. This is the adult. You always have to attach a reader to an account. An account, if I click create, it's going to say, error. You can't do this. You have to say yes to this or to that. One of them has to be yes. Are you registering this person as the reader? Are you registering other families on this account, other family members on this account? So you need to, add in. I'll say, yeah, I am entering this person. That person is older. And now I can, of course, enroll them. And look, there's a registration prize. So if I'm actually handing the person the prize, I don't have to go into their account. I can just be like, yep, and I redeemed that prize for you. There you go. Now, are there other kids that are going to be in this account? Yeah, this person actually has a daughter. And we can say their daughter is okay. Yep, and I can enroll the daughter as well. Okay, add that reader, and I can continue to add more readers to the account if I wanted to. All right. Now I'm going to say create the account. You can keep adding all the members of the family. So this is like the adult, account creator, these are the readers, or this would be like the teen, and then they wouldn't have readers on their account. I'll say create account. Done. Now I'm back on this blank screen, but that user was created successfully. And if I come in here and I go to find a person, and I want to go find Michael Jackson, looks like there's 2 results, but really it's just 1 account creator and 2 different readers. I signed up Michael here, and I signed up Beyonce as well. right? So those are my 2 people on the account. There they are. And of course, I can do the exact same thing as before, but now I've created them. You do want one thing to know, and you could see it when we were here, but you might not have paid attention, is it says the account creator's password, you don't have to set the password for them. It's automatically going to be Beanstack. So you let them know that it's Beanstack. They can go in and change anytime. In fact, if you want to, you can also change it for them. So they say, no, I want it to be different, or they come in, I can't remember it, can you help me? Then you can say, yep, here you go, edit. You can remind them this is what your username is. You can reset their password by saying, or by typing in the password 2 more times, the same password, and that's it, okay? And that is how you both reset someone's password and also how you add somebody from scratch, as they say. Are there any questions at all about how we go about looking for somebody, logging for them, redeeming prizes, changing their passwords, anything at all? Any questions that have come up? I also missed that Erica wrote something that I should have spoken to, but I'm just seeing it now. She was saying, just in regards to the age, I sort of misspoke when I said it's not that you're not collecting the information about the kids in terms of making sure that they have to be at least 13. It's more like saying it's fine to collect the information, but only if the parent or the responsible adult is the person providing it. So we won't be actually collecting that directly from kids, which is the gist of that regulation. Any questions? This is a quiet group. Last time we had a lot of questions, and this time we don't have any. Are you sure? There's no stupid questions. I will not say your name. If you ask a question, I'll keep it anonymous if you like, but please do ask. Makes it so much easier when the time comes if you really understand and don't have too many questions. All right. Well, I can't force it too much. So I'm going to move on to the next part of the presentation, which is really winding us down and speaking to some available resources. I'm going to now try and, let's see here if I can, give me 1 second. I'm going to add this handout here that I couldn't add earlier. Should be on here. There you go. So right now, I just added it for you. There should be the an additional thing that is not mentioned here is a cheat sheet. Erica Steiner did send out the cheat sheet to all of your library administrators, but maybe they didn't send it to you. I don't know. Please make sure that you get it. You'll see it's under handouts, and it says Department of Defense 2018 cheat sheet. Please go ahead and download that. It's a PDF, and it's a great resource as well. Sorry, 1 second. And I believe I had it pulled up here. So it looks something like this Google document. These are, you might not remember what I said right now, but this is going to give you kind of like a very visual, click here, do this, follow this arrow kind of thing to just remind you. You have access to this. You can print this out right now. It might look a little different from your site, honestly. It might be a little different because your site is not necessarily the exact same as this sample, but it's going to be similar, and the basics are similar, okay? One of the other resources that is on that slide is here is the help desk. We basically try, and I always say this, you know, we pride ourselves on being as responsive as we possibly can to getting back to people. It's challenging if you don't, to be as responsive as we like to be and to get back to folks, especially at this time of year, which is such a hectic time of year for you and certainly for us. It's hard to maintain that level of service when we find ourselves answering questions that maybe could have been found with a simple search. So I simply ask that you try to find the answer yourself. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you're thinking, oh God, this is such a silly question. Why am I asking? It's okay. If you can't find the answer, please ask us. Like I said, no dumb question ever. However, we ask that you please try to find the answer. Give it a few minutes, see if you can, ask somebody. If you can't and don't have the resource figured out, hey, click right here, submit a request, write to us. I'll tell you some of the other things you can do. But just first use some of the tools that we have created for you and that are generally for all Beanstack clients. Please see if you can't do a little sleuthing and find some answers there. It helps us be able to provide better, faster service when folks are themselves kind of taking that first step on, and we really appreciate it. We know how busy the summer can be, and it can just be so crazy, and we absolutely understand that you are like yourselves very strapped for resources and sometimes doing 10 different jobs on the base. So we really, really appreciate the work that you are doing, of course. In any case, there are some other available resources to you. You obviously have the cheat sheet now here, the help desk, and where do you go with questions? You want to, of course, check the help desk, reference the cheat sheet, submit a ticket, and then you can also write to client success, or we do also have another email, DOD_support, which I can also just type in here. I'm going to type it in there so everybody can see in the chat. So take a look. That's our primary support that's exclusively for Department of Defense. And CC Erica Steiner. Generally, I always CC her anyway, so she's just kind of in the know. And whenever there's a request that she chime in, she always will. She's a wealth of knowledge, and I'm not sure how many already know this, but actually was in your shoes not too long ago, so has been on the other, been in trainings and participated, very much so in working, setting up a program and helping to deliver it. So I'm excited about getting to work with her. Finally, if there are no questions, and again, I'll stick around to answer them if you have them, I'm happy to answer them. I just want to say thank you. Those are our kids, Cassius and Florence. They were so excited last summer to finish their program here in Washington, D.C., and they absolutely love and look forward to the summer program every single year. Our library is down the street from us, means the world to us. And we really, really appreciate that work that you do. And thank you again for doing it, and hope that we can help be a small part in the magic you helped create over the summer. I will stick around. If you have to go, you can feel free to go. This is my information directly, and you can absolutely reach out to me. I'm also happy to stick around and just speak briefly to the app and what the app is like, and make sure that everybody sort of knows how that works. So I will stick around and speak to that. And then if you have to head off, though, or are ready to go, then have a wonderful night. And thank you for attending. Just briefly, for those who are staying, the app, and you'll be able to just go onto your phone. If you have Apple or Android, the phone is in both stores, the App Store and the Play Store. You can just download the app, and if everybody holds on for 1 second, I can pull up some visuals for us. 1 minute. So, where are those? Give me 1 minute, y'all. Okay. So just so everybody kind of knows how the app works, you can see. This is the basic interface. This is not completely, I guess, updated. We're always making updates to the app, but more or less you're going to go on. It's like a banking app. So again, you can find in the App Store or the Play Store. It's like a banking app in the sense that you cannot register for a program or a site on the app. Rather, you have to have your account already set up on the website. And once you do that, then you can go in here and you can link the two. But you do have to already have it on the website. Then you'll kind of search for the library. The library's name pops up. You select that, and then you log in with your same login credentials. There's lots of neat stuff on there. Those are, some kids I know signing up. You can manage your readers, take pictures of everybody. We can all be sort of on the same app. Once you're in here, you can do ISBN scan. So what I think is kind of nice about it, especially because all the Department of Defense libraries primarily are all log minutes, which I think is the most equitable form of logging. It's awesome. And also, as a reader, I like to have a history of what I've read. And I think that it's really nice to have that. But sometimes, you're focused on minutes. Maybe you didn't finish your book that night. It's going to take me forever to finish the book I'm reading. But now what you can do is you can scan. The way that the app works, you click the little plus sign up here, you scan a book, and then you can say, I want to start a reading session. This is sort of your history here. But when I say I want to start a reading session, or rather I add a title, I'll go add a title. You can put, if you're reading like a magazine, you can enter in a magazine, no problem. But if you're reading a book, you can scan it, and it works super easy. Just scan it in. It'll pull it up if this is the book you're reading. You can also, again, like I said, do a manual entry and even snap a picture of what you're reading. Then you can identify who's reading, and you pretty much can just start tracking with a timer, and you can pause and just keep going. So at night when we're reading to our kids, we just start timing, end timer, that's it. And we'll note that we're reading for both of them, or maybe we're reading to one or the other. And then similarly can use the same timer for myself before I go to bed. These are some of the things that are coming up. I've seen some stuff like already in development right now, super exciting. Something we didn't used to have was the ability to complete activities. You actually can complete activities also in the app right now, which is great. And these are some kind of upcoming things. One first up is the ability, so right now, the app is a tracker app, and anything that you track, if you track 30 minutes in the app, it will speak to the website and it will record those 30 minutes in the website. Like your reading logs will be the same. If you log it in the website, it'll pop up in the app. So they're sort of speaking to one another. However, you cannot like currently earn your badges and your rewards and all that stuff on your phone in the mobile app. You can only do that on the website. But we are now beginning to make it possible, and certainly, I think over the course of summer it'll probably happen, that we'll update the app so that actually is happening too. And if you are enrolled in a program, you'd also like get your badge or get your reward and get notifications about that. And I've seen some of the early ways that's going to work today. We were reviewing it, and it's really exciting. So that's on the horizon in the soon, more near term. There's also like push notifications, reminding people, have you read today? Some leaderboard, fun stuff, so you can see other readers and where they are, and then lots of other things, and that's sort of where we are right now. Okay, but I did want to just make sure that you guys could see that, so that we could just make sure that you get a chance to understand like how that's going to work. It's really fun, and it's most easily tested and understood by actually downloading it. And again, it's free, and it's a fun thing to be able to do like really throughout the year, not necessarily just for summer, but it's a great and very easy way of logging once you've created your account. So a nice thing to be able to suggest to people, and really kind of allows you a much more seamless experience. And for me personally, I've been participating myself a lot more ever since we've had it. So it's been really great. Okay. That's all I have for you about the app. If there are other things that anybody wants to talk about or ask questions about, I'll stick around for about a minute, but I'm going to go ahead and stop recording now.